Hi there! Today I'm visiting Healesville Sanctuary, a conservation-focused zoo in Victoria, Australia. We're going to explore the zoo together, see some really cool Australian animals like koalas, kangaroos, echidnas, and Tasmanian devils, and we'll see how this sanctuary helps to protect Australian wildlife. If you're learning English and want to understand how people really speak in Australia, then you're in the right place. These videos will help you understand everyday English through comprehensible input, while exploring real places around Melbourne and Australia. Members of my Patreon can download PDF scripts, watch bonus videos, and listen to podcast episodes about everyday life in Australia. Okay, let's go for a walk. Healesville Sanctuary is about a 90-minute drive from Melbourne. It's in a really beautiful forest area of Victoria, surrounded by trees and bushland. It's one of my favourite areas to visit. Healesville Sanctuary is a zoo that only has Australian animals and has a strong focus on conservation. Conservation means protecting nature, animals, and the places where they live. Here, they want to protect Australian animals rather than just show them to people, but it's also still a popular place for people and families to visit. I bought my ticket earlier online, so let's scan it and head inside. It's very common in Australia now to book tickets online or have your ticket on your phone already when you arrive somewhere. Alright, we're inside. Let's have a look at the map. There are a few different paths and loops that we can walk around today. The birds seem to be on the right-hand side of the zoo, and there are more mammals on the left-hand side. Mammals are animals that usually have fur or hair and feed their babies with milk. So kangaroos, koalas, and humans are all mammals. You can see on the map that a creek runs through the middle of the sanctuary. A creek is a small river or stream. I think I want to head to the koalas first. Let's start walking. At Healesville Sanctuary, the plants and the landscape are just as important as the animals. The trees and the creek all help to create a home for the animals. We'll see more of that as we walk around. The group in front of me have spotted an emu on the way to the koalas. Can you see it? Emus are huge Australian birds that can't fly, but they can run pretty fast. This emu is walking around looking for food, bobbing its head up and down and pecking at things on the ground. If a bird pecks something, it uses its beak to quickly hit or to pick up something. It has a long, thin neck and a large beak. Its brown feathers look long and smooth along its back. Alright, let's keep walking towards the koalas. There are lots of tall trees growing along the paths. Well, the trees were probably here first, and the paths were built around them. The koala habitat needs lots of tall trees because koalas spend most of their lives up in the trees. Let's have a look at the sign. Which way should we turn to get to the koalas? We need to turn left. Koalas like to live high above the ground, so we're going to walk up this ramp to get a better view of them. There's one. Can you see it sitting in the tree? It's having a snooze. If you're snoozing or having a snooze, you're sleeping or having a short rest or a nap. This koala is having a snooze. The koala keeper is about to talk to the crowd about koalas. Let's listen to what she has to say.
So this is Lucy to your left here. Lucy's an 8-year-old female koala. She came to the sanctuary about 3 years ago from Ballarat Wildlife Park to join our breeding program. So there are over 700 different species of eucalyptus in Australia. We'd be lucky if our koalas here at the sanctuary ate a dozen of those species. So they're very specialised eaters. What you're looking at in this enclosure is what she's had over almost a 24-hour period. Koalas get all their nutrition from the eucalyptus, and because of that they sleep around 18 to 20 hours a day.
The koala is climbing along the branches using its hands and feet. It's found a new place to sit. Koalas are known for being a bit sleepy and slow, but they're actually saving their energy. The food they eat doesn't give them a lot of energy, so they need to rest a lot. Koalas have soft, fuzzy grey fur, and this koala has fluffy white fur on her chest and around her ears. The keeper is putting out more eucalyptus leaves for her to eat. She's moving along the branch again to get closer to the food. She just jumped onto another branch. Koalas might be the most famous Australian animal. Have you ever seen a koala in real life before? They're pretty cute. This koala's using her leg to scratch herself. She looks very comfy up there. Comfy is short for comfortable. At this zoo, they make sure the animals have a good habitat to live in. A habitat is the natural home or environment where an animal lives. Here, there are lots of thin tree trunks for the koalas to climb and sit on. There are also lots of native plants and eucalyptus trees for them to eat and spend time around. Alright, let's head through to the next habitat. On the door, it says Wurundjeri. You might see this word around Melbourne, especially at parks or events. Wurundjeri means welcome in the language of the Wurundjeri people. Today, we're on Wurundjeri country. For Australians, it's important to recognise the traditional owners of the land that you're on because Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples have cared for this land for thousands and thousands of years. Knowing whose country we're on is a way of showing respect and recognising the deep connection that First Nations people have with the land. Let's keep heading towards the kangaroos. It's been a bit rainy this morning, so I wonder if the kangaroos are trying to stay dry. I can see a few over there. The couple in front of me are watching one of them eat something. There's a kangaroo eating from a white container. The other kangaroos are still sitting underneath the shelter. I think these might be red kangaroos based on the shape of their faces. This one has grey fur, but they usually have a more square-shaped nose compared to other kangaroos. Further along, there are some grey kangaroos. This one is eating leaves from a large branch. It's using its hands to hold the branch while it pulls the leaves off with its mouth. It's chewing the leaves slowly. It's chewing for a long time. One just hopped across the path. It's ducking down so it can fit underneath the rope, and now it's hopping away. If you duck down, you lower your head or your body to move underneath something. It's joined the others under the shelter. This kangaroo is sitting with its legs up in the air. It's licking its leg. There's a kangaroo with her joey. The joey is trying to get the mum's attention. It almost looks like it's trying to give her a hug. The mother kangaroo looks a little tired. Its expression is very funny. It's very cute. The joey is nibbling at something on the ground. If you nibble something, you take small bites of it. There's another keeper that's dropping off more hay and grass for the kangaroos. Next, we're going to see the tree kangaroo. There are 2 sets of doors, so the animals can move around freely inside their habitat, but they can't accidentally escape when visitors enter. Wow, this habitat is amazing! There are lots of tall, twisting trees with ropes around them for the tree kangaroo to climb. It also has a little shelter that looks almost like a tree house. Can you spot it? There it is. It has a long red tail with orange and yellow stripes. It also has very bright blue eyes. It's using its foot to scratch itself. Look at its claws. They're much larger than I expected. They look pretty sharp, don't they? But when it tucks its claws in, it looks harmless, doesn't it? I think these animals are so cute. Something about their bright blue eyes makes their faces look very expressive. Expressive means that you're showing feelings or emotions clearly. Next up are the echidnas. Where could they be? Whoa, there they are. They're running around really quickly. They move fast. One echidna is poking its head through the hole to see if there's food inside the box. The other one is trying to dig underneath the box. Echidnas are very unique Australian animals. They have a body covered in sharp spines and a long nose. They use their long nose to find ants to eat. Then they use their long tongue to collect their food. Walking through Healesville Sanctuary, you can see that they've designed the zoo around nature. There are lots of trees, plants, water, and open spaces. The landscape isn't decoration, it creates a natural environment for the animals. Let's walk over this bridge. The bridge goes over the creek that runs through the sanctuary. Waterways are also important habitats because many animals depend on them, like the platypus. Let's see if we can find one today. We'll head into the platypus habitat. Platypuses are usually the most active around dawn and dusk. Dawn is the time when the sun rises, and dusk is the time when the sun sets. They're also quite difficult to see. Platypuses like dark environments, so this enclosure is quite dark. We can't use lights or take flash photos in here because it could disturb them. They use a red light because it allows us to see without disturbing the animals as much. Inside, there are lots of small fish swimming around, but I can't see any platypuses today. They might not feel like coming out to say hi. Let's head outside and see if there are any swimming in the water. No, it doesn't look like we'll see a platypus today, unfortunately. Something really special about this zoo is that they help sick and injured animals. Let's head into the Australian Wildlife Health Centre. It's kind of like a hospital for Australian animals. At the health centre, they examine animals, treat injuries, and help them recover. Inside, there are lots of animal skulls and bones on the shelves. These are really useful because they help scientists and keepers learn more about different animals. There are examination rooms here, just like in a human hospital. There aren't any animals being treated in this room right now, but there are conservation staff in the lab looking at a carpet python with an injury. How interesting! Something I love about coming to this zoo is that the plants and the landscape are a huge part of the experience. Australia has so many unique plants and animals that aren't found anywhere else in the world. Because of this, protecting our native wildlife and natural landscapes is something that a lot of Australians care deeply about. I definitely feel that way. Look at this tree up ahead. It's hollowed out and it looks like you can actually walk through it. How cool is that? Have you seen this plant before? This is wattle. Wattle is one of Australia's most famous native plants. It has bright yellow fuzzy flowers. You might have noticed that Australian sports teams often wear green and gold at the Olympics or at the World Cup. That's inspired by this plant. We're all the way at the back of the zoo now. This is where we can see the Tasmanian devils. Tasmanian devils are small Australian animals from Tasmania, which is this part of Australia, down south. They have strong jaws and make loud noises. Their habitat is quite large. There are 2 Tasmanian devils lying together over here, having a snooze. You can tell them apart by the different markings and patterns on their fur. On this wall, there's a chart showing all the Tasmanian devils at the zoo and their unique markings. This helps the keepers to know which is which. They have big pink ears, large noses, and long whiskers. There's a pretty big Tasmanian devil over here. It's sitting up high on a rock. Can you see underneath its belly? There are 2 tiny legs sticking out. It's carrying a baby in its pouch. Wow, that's amazing. I could watch these animals wandering around all day. If you'd like to spend even more time exploring Healesville Sanctuary with me, I've already uploaded a bonus video over on Patreon where we visit some cool birds and some other animals. In that video, I also ask you lots of questions so you can practice your English while we walk around together. I'd love to see you over there. For now, it's time to head home. The exit is through this gardening section. You can buy plants here and create your own habitat at home. Then there's the gift shop where you can buy little stuffed toy koalas, kangaroos, Tasmanian devils and platypuses. Thanks for walking with me today. What word means protecting nature, animals and the places where they live? Conservation. What word describes an animal's home or the place where they live? Habitat. What is Australian slang for sleeping, having a short rest, or a nap? Having a snooze. What word means that you show your feelings clearly through your face or your actions? Expressive. What word means taking small bites of food? Nibble. What phrasal verb means lowering your body to move underneath something? Duck down. Thanks for joining me today, and thanks so much to everyone on Patreon. If you'd like some extra support with your English, Patreon members can download PDF scripts, access bonus speaking and listening practice videos, and hear podcast episodes about my life in Australia. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more real-life Australian English practice. See you next time.